Live.
Stay close with him. I'm on this thing.
Good
Okay.
evening, Bears Banter Talk Show. We're gonna start this off. Kyler Gordon just got a contract, 3 years, 40 million, the highest slot corner in the NFL. 3 years, 31 and a quarter, guaranteed. We're gonna talk about it, and we also gonna talk about this draft that's been so anticipated. So let's get to it.
Hey, welcome to Bears Banner. Hey, Jay, that's some good information, man. Kyler Gordon got
Man,
locked up, huh?
man, let's get it cracking. Let's get it cracking. Let's get it cracking. Spider-Man earned his paycheck, and he's well worth every dollar, and he is now the highest slot corner in the NFL right now.
What was this deal for? How much?
3 years, 40 million, 31 and a quarter, guaranteed.
Mm.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
That was his first draft class.
yeah.
Yeah. They came out with a lot of draft picks, and then I want to say Jaquan Briscoe was the first pick.
Yeah.
Then it was Kyler Gordon. Then the infamous Velus Jones was the next pick.
Velvet Jones. There you go.
But you know that 2022 draft was the one where we only came into the draft with like I think it was like 4 or 5 picks.
Like 5 picks.
Yeah.
5 picks.
Yeah, and Paul flipped it into like 10 or 11.
Yeah,
because he kept trading back, and of course we was all like, "What the hell is he doing? What the hell is he doing?" But it wound up being that draft where we only had a few picks, and he finagled them into a lot of picks. And some of them guys, I'm kind of still here, but a lot of them ain't. But the ones that's supposed to be here are still here.
Yeah, because Braxton Jones was in the draft.
On there, right?
Say it again.
Dominique Robinson was in that class, right?
Dominique Robinson, Braxton Jones was in that class. Doug Kramer was in that class. So some of them guys are still here.
Okay.
Tristan Eben, what's his name?
Tristan Ebinger.
He was in that draft. Freddie Gill was in that draft.
Okay.
Doug Kramer was in the draft.
Well, that wasn't as bad as I think, given what we started out with. So,
well, like I said, we only started out with 5 picks in that draft.
Hey, what's happening, little man?
Say hi. Say blue pie. Give show it to him. There you go.
Hey, don't fall for that, man. They're gonna get you years later. Be like you was perfect.
They're gonna break up that same tape of your daddy playing that.
His godfather is Jeff Freeman, so he has no choice.
He ain't got no choice, right? He has absolutely no choice. Absolutely no choice.
Mm-mm.
Hey, so what y'all think about the draft coming up? Let me bring some of the stuff up so we could look at. This draft has been talked about a whole lot, and I'm bringing up the draft order. We have the Titans at number 1, the Browns at 2, the Giants at 3, the Pats at 4, Jaguars 5, Raiders 6, Jets 7, Panthers 8, Saints 9, the Bears 10. At least the top 10 picks. You know, some of the teams' needs have changed. Well, it appeared to have changed since the end of the season. It's hard to tell, but, you know, you have teams like the Jets. They signed Justin Fields. You have the Raiders signed Geno Smith. As far as quarterback.
The Panthers just announced that David Carr is going to be out for the year. So he's got some shoulder issues. So the Panthers are going to have to draft the
Saints. You mean the Saints?
Oh, the Saints.
You might be looking at Shador going to the Panthers if he's still there.
No, you mean the
Saints.
The Saints. Yeah, sorry. Yep.
Yeah, that's going to be a shakeup because I don't know why. Well, I do know why. Shador has fallen out of favor with some of these GMs for some reason. But this draft is not a really deep draft. I mean, because if you ask me, Cam Ward going number one, it's only because he's a quarterback. This draft is not really deep when it comes to the quarterback position. This is a strong draft for defensive linemen, offensive linemen, and running backs. But like you said, Bernard, there's so many teams now that's scrambling. We don't know what's going to happen. We know the Titans are going to take care of Ward because they didn't address their quarterback issues at all during the offseason. So we already know that. But now that Derek Carr may be out for the season, Shador might wind up jumping up in this draft. And of course, I heard today what they was talking about maybe Jackson Dart going possibly in the top 10. I'm like, wow.
Great.
Crazy.
Hey, Eric, what's your thought on the quarterbacks in this draft? I mean, you got, like he just mentioned, one other quarterback weekend.
I'll say like this. Jay is right. Is the fact if this is another year, Cam Ward would not be number one. That's the first thing. I think Jackson Dart is better than Shador for a number. I said that months ago. I watched both of them play a lot. Shador to me is he's a volume passer. He puts up a lot of numbers and this, that, the other. But Jackson Dart is a little bit more complete to me because not only can he, get the ball where it needs to be, but he can get out and run if he has to, and being mobile does, can save the day and move the chains a little bit, or at least, get you to another play. And so for me, I have Cam, then I have Jackson Dart, then Shador. I think Shador is going to be good. All the bluster about him is going on right now. To just for the accountability's sake, some of that is on him. Some of that is people want to take their digs at his father, but the kid can still play. I mean, you can't take this kid. I seen one take that he won't get drafted. I said, stop. Okay, so that's why I'm like, the draft need to come with all the craziness. But then after the top three, there are a few others. Will Howard, he'll land somewhere probably around 3-4. I hope nobody overdrafts him because of the lack of quarterbacks there. Dylan Gabriel, something about him says he'll be in the NFL for a long time as a backup, just around forever. That's my thing about Dylan Gabriel. Watching him go from Central Florida to Oklahoma to Oregon, he's something else. NIL, in the transfer portal, he's moved around. And so, I mean, Cal McCord had a good year at Syracuse. So there's some guys there. It's just always a matter of where they land and who wants to do something with them, And I mean, I think Riley Leonard probably should have came out a year earlier. He went to Notre Dame and they got to the national championship. He played better at Duke before he did at Notre Dame. He was a Heisman finalist at Duke. Then you go to Notre Dame and they're good, they're sufficient. He has some good games, but he regressed as far as how people looked at him. So I mean, but like Jay said, this is a defensive lineman draft. This is an offensive lineman draft to an extent. And this is definitely a running back class. Like his guys, I told y'all before, his guys are gonna go 5th round, gonna be starting somewhere. Watch. Because it's just so many of them. So that's my take.
What you have, Frank?
Yeah, I got a follow-up question for you, Eric. They got a lot of backlash against the Sanders family and Shador and all of that. Juxtapose that against what generally happens with the Mannings. Do you think it's the family brand that's suffering, or you think it's the fact that Deion's sons are not playing the same position that Deion had such success with? Which do you think is the bigger issue?
I think the bigger issue is how Shador is probably interviewing with people. Now, granted, you have to have a level of arrogance and confidence to be a starting quarterback, right? And so yeah, he can walk in with that, you know. But I think sometimes from my vantage point, and I'm not in those rooms, it just comes off this. I think Shedeur doesn't know how to turn it off sometimes. That's just me, how it looks from 1,000 miles away. And so comparison to the Manning situation, I think even with them, you know, and color still could be an issue. We're not going to negate that. But I think as far as when Arch Manning comes out next year, they won't be talking about the interviews. They won't. I think that he will go in there and just be like, all right, you'll know he think he's the best thing ever, but he probably won't do that as much, you know. And then the last thing is, like, when you talk about the position, and I'm gonna jump in and out of this with Shiloh. Shiloh has a good chance of not being drafted. Absolutely. And I watched a lot of Colorado, and he tackles high, or he missed tackles. And so he has the athletic ability. I think he believes he's better than what he is, you know. And so where I see him when I run simulators and things like that, he's going 6th, 7th round. Wow, yeah. You know. And so it's one of those things where, you know, you can be what you think you are, but you know, the tape shows something else. When I'm watching the games, I'm like, this dude's tackling high. And I was like, so, you know, and their defense was not good. So it's interesting to see.
Yeah, but I want to add about
a second slower than his dad.
Yeah, a lot of people slower than his daddy.
They definitely didn't get the gene, right? Yeah, they definitely didn't get the speed gene from their dad.
I mean, but you know, a 4.5 safety who can recognize is just as fast as a 4.3 who can't.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I just want to jump back real quick. Eric, you was talking about the quarterback. What do you think about Jalen Milroe? Because I'm hearing a lot coming up with him right now. I'm hearing a lot of buzz about Jalen Milroe right now.
Okay, I'm gonna say this: Jalen Milroe was a better college quarterback than Anthony Richardson. Anthony Richardson was not good, but yeah, he was drafted in the top 5, top 10 a few years ago, and I was screaming, "Don't do it!" Jalen Milroe, is in one part paying for Anthony Richardson what he's done with the Colts so far. Mm-hmm. The other thing is that he needs some work. The one thing he's better than Richardson is that I think he's better between the ears. Mm-hmm. And not saying Richardson is bad, but what he did last year and saying I can't play right now because I'm just tired, that threw a lot of people off. You know, his production in college at Florida should never translate to why he got drafted, and that speaks to like why we have a Cam Ward going number 1. Not that Cam Ward's bad. When a bad QB draft class come in, you can look the part in shorts in Indianapolis. This is what you get. And so, but Jalen Milroe, he underwhelms me as a passer. I mean, they had talent at Alabama, and they couldn't figure it out. And then you had a QB that if he couldn't get it going, you know, a little bit with some of the stuff, it just didn't happen. So you had an all-world 18, 17-year-old freshman wide receiver that just popped out game 1, game 2, didn't see him anymore, right? Yeah. You know, you had Jeremy Bernard and them other receivers there. He couldn't get to him, you know. So, you know, their tight end was decent. They had Tyler Booker their left guard is gonna go first round, probably the second guard being off the board. So he had talent. He couldn't put together. He's a project. Long story short, he's a project.
But you know what? He's a project. And what I've been hearing over the last couple of weeks, they kind of like compare him to Jalen Hurts. I kind of feel that is not fair because I think Jalen was good in college. I think he was really good in college, but that's the comp. But I can actually see it too. I'm like, second round pick maybe. He sit for a year and kind of learn how to read defenses and become a better passer. I can see that, but over the last couple of weeks, he kind of shooting up the draft board.
I'll put it like this: I think the comparison to Hurts are that they came from Alabama. Hurts then went to Oklahoma. and they're black and relatively fast. I think Milroe is faster than Hurts, and I think that's where it stops because Hurts coming out of Oklahoma that year with Lincoln Riley, Oklahoma.
Yep.
Yeah.
As a passer, he got better. Right.
All I can say is hashtag Jalen Hurts. I wanted the Bears to do it. They wouldn't.
I wanted to.
I digress.
I wanted Hurts.
You've been saying that for 4 years. You gotta let it go.
I gotta let it go. I gotta finally let it go because I was saying it.
Hey, other thing I want to say about Shedeur Sanders is also the visibility, I think, doesn't help him. Right now at this point, right? You're going through the evaluation part and you still seeing like current videos of him talking, and I think it doesn't really help him none, right? Because it helps foster some opinion, like when y'all talk about Deion running the speed, the video out there where he's questioning Deion's speed, the video out there with him and Cam Ward kind of going back and forth, right? And it was okay in helping recruit players, but I think at some point it's kind of like just kind of mellow out and let the draft, because it started making people, I believe, feel they know him. I'm talking about the NFL, not only the interview, but I think this makes them think they know him and they may form additional opinion about him.
Yes.
But anyway, to go back to the Titans, Jay, I think at pretty much last week, Titans pretty much said that they was drafting Cam Ward without saying it. They pretty much made it clear that that's who they're going to get. So I think that's
they've been bullied into that because that I can't see it.
And my thing is, so what's he gonna do? If you don't draft Cam Ward, Will Levis gonna be your quarterback. He's bad. He's bad.
Yeah.
So I mean, and they didn't address it during the offseason. So they already let everybody know that they're screaming Cam Ward at number one. But to me, I still think this draft is gonna come down to that number 3 spot. What are the Giants gonna do? Because I still think the Browns are gonna draft Abdul Carter.
Yes.
Okay. So hey, let's look at some of those names that's out there.
They're gonna bookend that.
Who y'all think is going in number 2? Jay just said Abdul Carter. So I got some names here, just names that keep coming up. Abdul Carter, and these are in no particular order. These are just names that keep coming up, and maybe the top 10. And I added some new ones: Travis Hunter, Cam Ward. Cam gonna probably almost 100% going to Titans. Dallas Turner, Mason Graham, Alshon Gentry, Will Campbell, Shedeur Sanders, Tyler Warren, Mike Green, Jalen Walker, Will Johnson. What's that? James Pierce? That how you pronounce his last name?
Yeah, that's the kid from Tennessee, right? That's the kid from Tennessee.
I like James Pierce.
So, what do you think gonna happen with the Browns? What do you think the Browns gonna do?
The Browns.
Go ahead, Jay.
No, I think the Browns are number 2. I think they're gonna take Abdul Carter. I do. That's like a no-brainer.
Okay.
Yeah. I think Travis Hunter is a wild card in all of this. I mean, they got 2 or 3 teams that are have him on their radar, and at this point you still don't know where he's gonna be slotted at. Is he a cornerback? Is he a wide receiver? I see him more as a defensive player than I do a wide receiver. He doesn't seem polished from my perspective, and he's a lot smaller than I thought he was. So that may not translate to NFL success as quickly as people think that it is.
If they get a corner, go ahead.
Now, what you say?
Number 2, what you think the Browns gonna do?
Oh, I think Abdul Carter. I mean,
Carter too. Okay.
You pair him with Miles.
Miles Garrett? Miles Garrett, right?
Miles Garrett.
Now you book in for the next 5 seasons at least.
Yeah, they sacking quarterbacks left and right, so
all day long.
Okay.
Now they don't have anybody that can play quarterback, so that's an entirely different issue.
Yeah.
What about you, Eric? Who you got? The Browns getting?
I wouldn't be surprised if they take Travis Hunter. I would not be surprised. I think Carter is a safe pick, right there. I think that, but I wouldn't be surprised if Hunter went there at number 2. At one point, I thought they could possibly, take Shedeur number 2, but I don't. From what I'm kind of reading, it's not happening with that. So, because they still got to figure out what they, wait, who is that quarterback now? They still got Deshaun.
Yeah, they
Oh,
brought
God.
back. They
46,
just brought back Joe
46.
Flacco, I believe, over the weekend.
That's
Yeah,
right. They got Pickett too.
They got Pickett.
They got Pickett. They got Pickett. They re-signed Flacco, but guess who on the hook for 46.8?
Ooh, Deshaun Watson.
Watson is on the hook for $46.8 million.
It's a lot of massaging.
Okay.
It is right. And to me, if I was Deshaun and if I was serious about my career, I would just tell them, you know what, release me and let me go, because it's already evident he's not gonna play. He's not gonna play for the Browns.
Nah.
So if you want to seriously recoup your career, just go to them and be like, you know what, it ain't like I ain't got no money. It ain't like I ain't got no money. Just release me. Y'all keep y'all 46 and some change, and I can go somewhere and I can actually try to rekindle my career somewhere. But,
Okay.
That's the NFL.
So I got them taking Carter. What y'all think the Giants gonna do? What's up, King George? King George said, "What's up, gentlemen?" He said, "What the Giants gonna do at 3?"
Oh,
I got the Giants taking Travis Hunter if he's still there at 3.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think they're gonna pass him. If they do, I think the Patriots end up taking him. So I think he's gonna get taken a lot higher than people might think. But again, part of the issue is you don't know what position this guy is slotted at. And the idea that he can play both, I'm not a fan of that. I'm not. The NFL is too hard. He's a rookie, which means most of the time rookies can be exploited from one position, let alone trying to play two. So I like the kid, but I see him going with the not pass the Patriots at 4. But I'm thinking the Giants are going to try to take him. What you guys got?
I'm picking the Giants as well for Travis Hunter because I feel like they've solidified their quarterback position, so to speak. But Bernard, I think I was having this conversation with Bernard. Russell Wilson. I thought about. I was teasing y'all in the text. I'm like, Russell Wilson going to the Giants. I'm like, he's just trying to just play football. But then when I looked at the overall perspective of it, the Giants were 1-9 in one-score games last year.
Yeah.
Without a quarterback. Is Russell Wilson the same Seattle Russell Wilson? No, he's not. No. But he ain't Danny DeVito. I don't know if it's Danny DeVito or Danny Dimes or whatever they want to call it.
Danny Dimes.
With a competent quarterback play, could 1-9 turn into 6-4, 5-5, 4-6? You know what I'm saying? So
I don't like their running backs either. So I don't see it. They need too much.
So for at number 3, I would say they would go Travis Hunter.
Okay. Hey, let me run this on y'all since we Plank just mentioned it. The needs of the Giants, quarterback. I'll just put the top 3: quarterback, offensive line, and defensive line. Of course, running back and all those, but
but you can't pass up at this point with the Giants. Could they go offensive line? Who they gonna take? Will Campbell at number 3? Nah. You have to cut it out. You have to. When you're a bad football team, when you're a bad football team, you got to go for playmakers, man. You got to get a playmaker, man. So I think that Travis Hunter will be the play right there.
Okay, you got Hunter. Who you got them taking? Yeah,
that is hilarious.
For me, because I think that Hunter might go to the Browns, as like you said, take a playmaker. Then I would not be surprised if they went either offensive lineman with Mimbu or Campbell. I have no issue with Campbell's little hands because the fact that Joe Thomas had the same thing, he made Hall of Fame. So your technique overrides that. This is where a surprise could happen. like someone said, their running back room. You can't tell me who's in that room. So if they would decide to say, let's make up a mistake we had with Barkley and go with Ashton Genty, I would not be surprised. I would think because of the fact that there's no clear cut, like they're top prospects, but there's no clear cut of where people can just kind of slot people. Anyone can go almost anywhere after 2. And so it's like that's where it's like nothing will surprise me after 2. Nothing will. It'll be like, that's why I'm like, I can't wait for it to be over to talk about it, because I have I'm usually like a little bit of a gambling man. I would not put any money into what's going on in that draft in a couple of weeks. It's gonna be crazy.
Okay. You know what? This is what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna say, I'm gonna go out of the box a little bit. The Giants gonna trade back with the Jags. And the Jags are gonna come to and take their slot, and they're gonna grab Dallas Turner.
I thought Dallas did he come out last year?
Dallas Turner. Yeah, Dallas Turner came out.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm talking about Dallas Turner. He ain't even in this draft.
Right.
They gonna it's gonna be a sneaker of somebody like Mike Green. They gonna pull a rabbit out of a hat and grab. That's the Jags.
I think they're in love with Mason Graham.
Yeah.
If he falls, this dude he's a beast.
Mason Graham's a man.
So you got Campbell. So at 4, what you got?
I got Will Campbell. I got Will Campbell going to the Packers.
Me too.
They care about his measurements and everything. And this guy started 3 years in the SEC.
Yes.
Not all of a sudden he got short arms.
Right.
Not all of a sudden he got short arms. Man, cut it out.
They didn't stop.
March in. I'm looking for you. Cut it out. Cut it out, man.
And even with the Patriots line, if they decided, they can move a man at guard if they have to. I mean, their line stinks.
He's a technician at left tackle. Leave him at left tackle.
This dude has been a starting left tackle since his freshman year in the SEC.
That's all he knows.
Like I said, the film don't lie. The film don't lie, man.
He's given up 2 sacks in the last 2 seasons. Give me a break.
The film don't lie.
Put him out there and ride him till the wheels fall off.
Exactly.
Okay. At 5, we got the Jags.
Mason Graham.
Mason
Graham.
And what you got, Plank?
That Mason Graham, that dude's got a motor on him, man. So, they of course, they talking about underwear Olympics, like they talking about he's a little bit too, he came in under 300. Man, whatever that dude comes in at, you put him on the field and you're not going to be upset about it.
Right.
He's got a high motor. He's got a wrestler's body, so he's used to grappling inside. And this guy he doesn't stop.
Oh, let me get him out of here.
I like what you get out of that guy.
Hold on, let me move him out of here because I don't know how I put Dallas Turner in there, but let me.
I think like Dallas Turner. He came out last year.
Did he play well?
All this stuff merged together at some point, right?
Did he play well? Did he play well?
I think he was okay.
He did play well.
He played pretty good last year. He played pretty good last year. The Raiders at
Matter of fact, that was some of the conversation last year was Dallas Turner. That's probably why it was kind of stuck on my mind.
Yeah. The Raiders at number 6, though, I think this is a wild card because I don't know what that franchise wants to do, but I feel like now that they kind of stable with Pete Carroll over there, I wouldn't be surprised to see Ashton Genty go to the Raiders right here.
That's why I got them taking Gentry at 6.
I've heard that that he's not getting past the Raiders.
Yeah. I don't think he's getting past the Raiders either.
I got the Raiders taking an offensive lineman, so I'm looking at Mimbo or the dude from Ohio State.
Kelvin Banks.
I'm sorry.
Kelvin Banks.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
Kevin Banks.
No, he's from Texas.
He's from Texas.
He's from Texas. Kevin Banks from Texas.
You talking about Josh Simmons? Josh Simmons. Yeah.
From Ohio State, Josh Simmons.
Yeah.
When we start talking about what the Raiders coach is taking, he's always built the trenches. But on the other hand, maybe trying to get his own, Marshawn on the Raiders and build that team inside. So that I don't think y'all might be right. I don't think Gentry gets past him.
Yeah.
Yeah, now a lot of the mock drafts have Josh Simmons going like 15 to about 25.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, that's from the injury.
Yeah,
that's because of the injury. Yeah.
But every year there's a couple offensive linemen that.
Thanks, guy. I didn't even see you down there until you sent that message. Thanks, bro.
Yeah, I was back there with the cheerleaders.
Okay, when you back at home?
That's cool. I was listening. It sounds good, man. Y'all sound good.
Yeah. How's it going? We at the Raiders at number 6. Who you think they're gonna take? I know you just.
Believe it or not, I think they might take Shedeur Sanders.
That's not the worst thing I've heard, actually.
I think they're going to take Shedeur at 6. I mean, for him, in a way, as much as people say that Pete Carroll's an OG, he's all that other stuff, I think he would actually probably be good for Shedeur Sanders. And I think that the thing is, a lot of stuff when it comes to him behind closed doors, I believe he would probably have an open door policy for his pops. And I know a lot of people don't like to figure his pops into a situation, but when your pops is a Hall of Famer and what he's done, and his kid's got, he's got a pretty nice skill set, I would think that, he would be somebody that you probably want to put. I don't believe that he would come in and start anywhere, but I just think it would be good for him to hopefully do what we couldn't do with Justin Fields, put a clipboard in his hand and just get him used to it. But I could be wrong.
He was working out with Tom Brady before he became
one of the
Raiders, so that's not far-fetched since Tom Brady is one of the owners of the Raiders. So
yeah,
because Tom helped him with a lot of his fundamentals. He started working with him when he went to Jackson State.
Yeah, the problem is he ain't been listening to Tom Brady, so it's probably not a good idea.
That's why he's gonna probably have a clipboard. Or what they might do to kind of just help him out is let him get a couple snaps in there and get his head knocked off. It's like, so you gonna listen now? Yeah.
That dude got sacked 93 times last year. He ain't scared to take a hit.
That's true. And if you think about it, the NFL record is what, 60-something, 70-something?
It's 74. It's probably
74.
That was
That was David Carr?
David Carr.
Yeah, it was David Carr. So look on the bright side.
I think David Carr is 1, 3, and 6. No, I think Caleb may be 3rd.
Yeah, but if you look on the bright side, man, the numerology portion works out. If he gets sacked 75 times, and that means that's only 21 times less than he did, and that's his pop's number. So hey.
Look at guy always coming with the number.
I don't know how, man. I don't know.
Hey, what's up, Luke Vaughn? My son Luke Vaughn watching this. Thanks, Luke, for turning in. Thank everybody who's watching Bears Banner tonight on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitch TV. We got Eric sitting in tonight. Eric is our residential college specialist.
He's an expert.
That's right.
I appreciate that.
Expert.
Oh, hey, let me go back to who's next?
Number 7.
Yes.
Anybody.
Tyler Warren.
I got
taking Tyler Warren.
I think Tyler Warren.
I'm taking Tyler Warren there.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Justin Fields gets a safety blanket in Tyler Warren.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
6'6" tight end with speed. I think it makes a difference with the Jets too.
Mm-hmm. Let me address this real quick about me and my man, big Mark Quinn, be going back and forth about Tyler Warren and the Bears. I have to say this: if he were to fall to the Bears at number 10, and we decided to do that, and it would not make a lick of sense. This is where my argument with Mark comes in all the time. This time last year, Kmet just signed his extension. So he just played the first year of his extension. And so at 4 years, it's averaging about $12 million a year, this, that, and the other. You render that contract a bad contract the moment you draft a tight end at 10. That's no one ever explains that part when I talk about that. That's where it's like, come on, man. And not saying that Warren is not a good player. He was basically the offense for Penn State. Okay, it was literally a game where they didn't throw to the wide receivers in a game. I think it was in one of the college football playoffs games. And so it was Tyler Warren, the running backs, and Dust for Penn State. He would be perfect for the Jets for Justin, because Justin can throw to him. He can throw to Garrett Wilson. He can hit Breece Hall a little bit out the backfield. They might be a little bit fun to watch. And so, so basically, that's my piece on that when it comes to Tyler Warren. I like the kid. He reminds me of I think Brock Bowers is like a little bit better. But you know, Tyler Warren is a special talent. I just got to get that off my chest because I looked up, like, we just signed Komet last year. Why people no one's even mentioned, not even on sports radio, they don't even talk about that. It's like he just got $50 million for 4 years. No one's even mentioning the fact we just re-signed the dude, and now you want to draft a. You keep talking about a tight end. That's my rant. Before we even get to number 10, I got to get that off my chest. All right, go ahead.
You know what? This is something they don't think about too when you talk about the contracts. The way NFL contracts are written, if you move a guy before June 1st, you take a higher salary cap hit. So that's why you'll see teams delayed. So if you used to do anything with Komet, it would have to be in the draft for it to make sense, because everything after that, he becomes devalued. Because you, like you said, you didn't already say it's a bad contract, and it will probably be after June 1st at that point as well. So, well, before June 1st, because after June 1st is, I don't know. I don't get that one. Why would they do that?
And the last thing was when people talk about if the Bears were to get him, I know we haven't got to 10 yet, and how Ben Johnson played 12 personnel with 2 tight ends at Detroit.
Yep.
Name me the second tight end for Detroit last year. No one can.
Cricket.
No one can. It was that even out that personnel when they had the 2 tight ends on the field, it was really to run the ball. It was Gibbs, it was Montgomery, and then Laporta really came on late because the first half of his season he wasn't doing anything.
Yep.
Okay. So when they passed the ball, it was St. Brown, it was Sprinkling Williams. After a little bit, Tim Patrick started catching the ball a lot. I was like, so I'm watching Detroit. I'm like, did y'all watch the same games and think that you put Komet and Warren on the same field? Who's gonna catch? You still got to feed DJ. You still got Roman's gonna do his thing this year.
Yeah, I believe that.
And then they like throwing the ball at the backfield. Swift can still catch the ball. I don't want to go into that rant. I'm just saying when we mentioned Tyler Warren, he's perfect for the Jets.
It sounds like you went into a pretty good rant, though.
Right.
I agree with you. There you go.
Hey, let me share the Jets needs. I had the Jets needs at offensive line, receiver, and was it line? Look like linebacker.
Yeah.
Linebacker.
Yeah, I think it's linebacker.
Who needs linebackers in the draft now? That don't even make sense.
Hey, people don't even draft linebackers no more, man.
Right.
That's like a position that's so devalued right now.
Yeah.
But Eric, I agree with you on the Tyler Warren thing. To me, Tyler Warren, his comp is a Dallas comp.
Yeah, he's nice. Same number too.
Same number. I don't know, maybe if that's what linked him to link that, but I like Tyler Warren, but he can be a force with the Jets. I don't think he's going to be at number 10, which is why I don't even have the argument with people like, they're going to take Tyler Warren. No, he's not, because he ain't going to be there. He's not going to be there. So,
yeah. Interesting. So, the Jets makes sense for Tyler Warren. That makes all the sense in the world.
So we got off the board right now. We got
actually over the middle. If you look at Justin Fields, he never throws the ball in the middle of the field. So
that ain't our problem. That ain't our problem no more. So I mean, I'm just trying to give him a weapon. That ain't our problem no more. I don't care what he do with the ball.
But the issue with the Jets, a lot of people project that Tyler is going to put a new target for Justin Fields, and he's going to be successful. I'm like, Justin Fields still hasn't proven that he can throw the ball over the middle of the field.
I'm just saying. All I'm saying is a tight end is a quarterback's best friend. That's all I'm saying. And I'll leave it there. And I'll just leave it there.
And where are tight ends getting most of their catches?
In the middle of the field.
There you go. That's my argument.
It ain't my argument, because I'm like, whatever it is, what it is. Yeah. I can care less.
Man, and nobody nobody has taken Shedeur yet. As he's still on the board because who I got off the board now between all of us, we got Carter off, Hunter off, Ward off, Graham off, Gentry off, Campbell off, and Warren off. Then I threw in the monkey wrench and put Green in there.
You did.
Yep.
We had 8 now, right?
So at number 8,
we had 8 with the Panthers. What you got, guy?
I don't know. Do I have to pick from all the people that you got on the board?
No. These are just names that I just said I keep hearing coming up in the top 10. I tell you what their needs are. Their needs are edge rusher. And when I say these needs, it's not nothing I made up. This is what they put on the scouting reports, and I just narrowed it down to 3 versus 6. Edge, safety, and cornerback is what their needs are.
And this is for Carolina?
Carolina.
What about that kid from Texas, Barron, Johnny Barrett? Barron?
Okay.
The Jim Thorpe Award winning guy. I mean, because see, the thing is, what's really funny is I could come up here with, just like you guys said, I could come up here with 50 million choices of what they could have. And I guarantee you, anything that I tell y'all, I'm gonna tell you, my draft is gonna be so far off, outside of Cam Ward. I don't know, man. I really don't know. This is really one of the first times that I've done a draft where I look down the board and I see what they need and I see the players out there. And it's like, for me, that's just for me. I know you astute geniuses there probably do much better than me. But, man, I'm looking, this like I look at so many things. Like we talk about the Jets. I'm like, just flip a coin and just pick somebody because y'all need everybody. Because really, Justin Fields, really, me personally, a tight end is his best friend, but offensive tackle is his daddy. At this point, just give the Jets whoever. But Carolina, I'm gonna go with a cornerback, the kid from Texas, Barron.
Barron. Okay, I'm gonna go with Will Johnson.
Me too.
I like him.
I'm gonna go with Will Johnson too. They just had J.C. Horn to a long-term deal, so now J.C. Horn is locked up, and you get a rookie on a 4-year deal with a 5th-year option that can slot them together. That's solidifying your secondary as far as the corners are concerned.
Yeah, that kid is good, man.
I'm with you, Will. I'm with you, Bernard. I will go with Will Johnson at that pick.
I agree with you. Will Johnson, cornerback, Michigan. He's won a national championship. So now you got 2 corners that are lockdown corners on the same squad. That allows you to improve your defense very quickly and improve your entire team. So I think that'll be a good draft pick for the Panthers at 8.
Who you got at 8 with the Panthers, Eric?
I think they can go either Jalon Walker or Michael Williams.
Okay.
Okay.
I can see that, like edge, and take that off real easy.
Okay. At 9, I'll go first. Shedeur Sanders. This is where I think he's going to go. He's going to go. He's going to go to the Saints with the new revelation of David Carr being out and them really.
Oh, that's right. I forgot about that.
Shedeur Sanders.
Wow. Yeah.
I've already given you my 2 cents on that. I think the Saints are taking Shedeur at 9, and I think it's a good choice. They don't want to be left with Spencer Rattler for the rest of the year. That guy is garbage. So they're gonna have to upgrade and do something.
And I'm thinking that the Saints are gonna go Jackson Dart.
Oh. Okay.
Because I look at it, going to school. I ain't trying to tell the whole story. Going to school at Alcorn State University. New Orleans is very tight with Mississippi as far as colleges are concerned. Because they're able to see this guy on a regular basis, I think they would actually do that and would allow Spencer Rattler, who started 6 games or maybe 5 games for them last year, to be the bridge quarterback, especially when Carr, if Carr can't play. But I actually think that they would go Dart before they go Sanders. I really do. And it is what it is, but I really believe that.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Hey, guy, did you pick anybody for the Saints?
You know what? Now that I look at it, I forgot about David Carr getting injured. I think Shadur would be a good choice. I was going with I was looking at this guy. Actually, before he got hurt, I was gonna say they should get your boy from where is he from? Another Texas guy, Kelvin Banks, an offensive tackle. But I don't think you take offensive tackle at this point right now, especially with David Carr. You probably need to get him in there. So I'm gonna scratch out I'm gonna put Shadur in there twice. We're gonna split him in half. So but I think he's better suited with I think the Saints are more likely going to draft him.
Okay. Yeah, because their needs are listed as cornerback, receiver, and offensive line.
Yeah.
The moment we've been waiting for, number 10. Eric, you up? What you think? What you think the Bears gonna do at 10? They gonna keep the pick? They gonna trade back? What they gonna do?
I don't know if he can hear you, Eric. Can you hear me?
Okay, you talking to me? I thought I hear you.
Yeah.
They say we up to the Bears at 10. You think they gonna trade back, keep the pick? What you think is gonna happen?
I would love Kelvin Banks Jr. To be there, and take him. And then if we don't do him, I wouldn't be surprised if it's Genty. But outside of that, I want Kelvin Banks Jr. That's what I want.
Kelvin Banks Jr. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
From Texas.
I approve that message.
Yeah.
I approve that message. I want the Bears to solidify this offensive line. I want them to solidify the offensive line. So if Kelvin Banks Jr. is available at number 10, I will gladly take him.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I don't think Will Campbell's gonna be there, even though if he's at 10, that's who I'm taking, but I don't think he's gonna be there. So that was my next pick was Kevin Banks. Hold on, he's senior, right? Kevin Banks senior, I believe, right?
Junior. Oh, unless he had a baby.
Yeah, he had a baby. He had a baby.
Well, I'm expecting the Bears to take Ashton Gentry if he falls to number 10. If not, I see the Bears taking Armin Membo. The guy brings some beef to him, and it protects Caleb Williams' blind side. So I think that's where the Bears are going.
I almost put him on this list, but I thought my list was getting too long for the screen. Well, he's like about 355 or something like that. He's a big boy.
Like that. He's a big boy. 6'7". Oof.
Man. So y'all went at it today, man. I mean, I'm just gonna throw some names. It's kind of random here and there. Looking at like everybody was a consensus that Cam Ward was gonna go number 1. More of a consensus. I think everybody except Eric was Abdul Carter at 2. What about you, guy? What you think happened with the Browns? I know you wasn't on yet.
They go. I had a joke, but I'm gonna keep it there. Who did you guys? Browns are second, right? Second or third?
The second.
I think they get Travis Hunter.
Okay. So you and Eric got both of them. Both of them going. Hunter going there. I'm trying to think. Who did I have? You know what? I had Carter.
Yeah, Carter.
Then I had Hunter. I had Hunter going to the Browns too. Okay. Looked like the Giants. The consensus we had looked like it might have been Will Campbell. Will Campbell. Hold on. Eric had Will Campbell.
Some people had Will Campbell. Some of us had Will Campbell. Some of us had Travis Hunter.
Yeah. Jay had Hunter. Plank had Hunter.
That's interesting.
What you got? Guy be tiebreaker. What's the consensus at 3?
I think it should be Will Campbell because I'm looking at all these mock drafts. They got Campbell at like 10 or 11. I'm like, y'all crazy.
Okay, so you got that. Okay. Look like the consensus. Look like it's kind of even right there.
I tell you what, Bernard. I'm talking about the second picks that the Bears got because we all Bears fans, and we want to talk about that. I'm talking. I think the Bears need to get Trayvon Henderson.
Hey, that's you talking about second round, man.
Second round.
Oh, buddy boy. The
Hey.
Bears and Bernard. I know you trying to recap our top
That's okay.
10, but I'm gonna tell you something. The Bears are in a luxury spot right now.
Oh yeah.
When you talking about 39, if I'm not mistaken, 39, 41, and 44. Is that right?
They have 44. I think they have 72.
No. What is it?
39 and 41. I don't. Yeah. No,
39 and 41.
Yeah.
So you're gonna get 3 of the top 40 players in this draft.
Yep.
Which is why when people talk about Ashton Jeanty, if he's there, trust me, if he's there at number 10, I wouldn't be mad if they take him. But guess what? We talking about 39 and 41. This draft is loaded, and no bias. I love Trayvon Henderson. This dude has a motor and speed that's like second to none.
And he can block really well.
If anybody watches his pass pro,
quarterback protector. Yes, sir. He gets after it on blocks.
This dude gets it done. You do not
see running backs that come out with his kind of tenacity, and he putting guys on their backs.
Gets it done. Now, Bernard, I know you like Junkins. I know you like Junkins.
Well, you know what? I was going off base thinking Henderson was gonna be gone. That's why I picked Junkins. So when I went down my list, I went down on who I thought was gonna be gone, and Junkins was the I had him as the fourth or fifth back coming up. Because like you said, Jay, when you mentioned Mario Hampton was on land on somebody, I think he's gonna be taken by KC. I think he's gonna be taken by KC because I think KC's running game is not good enough.
Once he wind up being the Chief, you be like, damn, for real? They got Mario Hampton. God damn. How did that happen?
Yeah.
But I'm gonna tell you something. It's so many backs in this draft. Oh my God. What's his name? Caleb Johnson from Iowa? And then the kid from Kansas, what is it?
K-State? What's his name, Eric? The kid from K-State.
Devin.
No, K-State is Giddens, and Kansas is Neal.
Kevin Giddens, right?
Devin Neal, right? It's so many backs in this draft. It's so many backs. Because I'm gonna tell you something. That kid from Iowa, I love that kid from Iowa too. Yeah. That kid from Iowa is special. So this draft, you can get what you need at the running back position, which is why I'm saying if you're gonna continue to build your offensive line, and my thing is, you got, which Plank said, Tony, he's in the last year of his contract. He's 32 years old. Mm-hmm. And then you got Jonah Jackson, who they gave an extension to 1 year. So that's 2 years. So let's do like Kansas City and Philadelphia, and you draft these kids. So when that person gone, you got somebody to slide right in. Jason Kelsey retired. Jordan slid right in that center. You got to be able to solidify your offense. You can't, as much as we want to go for the pretty toys as fans, that's not how, this ain't fantasy football. It's not fantasy football. You have to solidify every position on your team. And that's what Ryan Poles and the Bears need to do.
Hey, I got a question for y'all. Okay, with all the stuff that they were talking about, like I said, we picked Will Campbell much, much higher, because I think he's very valuable, especially at this particular time. I think it'd be an excellent time for him to go up top. But just say if he's available for the Bears and Ashton Jeanty is available, who do you get?
Ashton Jeanty.
I'll take Will Campbell.
I'll take Will Campbell.
I'll take Will Campbell.
You can get another running back. I'll take Will Campbell.
I'll tell you why. I'm telling you why I take Jeanty. Because he has broken more tackles over the last 2 years. He's got over 3,500 yards after first contact. That is elite. That's going to translate to NFL all day, every day. So that's the number 2 running back ever to be able to break tackles. this dude is special. I know we want to get offensive line and build them up and all of that stuff, but I wouldn't pass on Ashton Dutty.
Hey,
Yeah,
I'm just saying,
I think he's gonna be. I think he's gonna be ultimate pro. But I'm gonna use, and I know people ain't gonna understand this. I'm gonna use the Giants as an example. To me, Saquon, excellent. He should not have been drafted by the Giants that early in that draft. It didn't do anything for them. Think about it. What did it do for him? Nothing. They made one playoff this whole time he was in there because he stayed hurt because they couldn't block. They didn't have a quarterback. This was his most healthiest season this year when he had good blocking. So, and that's not the same thing about Saquon, but I think building in the trenches definitely does matter. It could depends on it's a difference of a running back getting contact at 4 yards versus a running back getting contact at 1 yard. See, and that was the difference. You could see the size of Saquon this year. Why? Because guys wasn't making contact with Saquon until he was 4 or 5 yards at the field sometimes. At the Giants, he was getting contact at 1 yard, 2 yards. So now a 5 or 6 yard run is difficult. The Eagles, now he's looking at who he's going to make miss. I mean, he's showing out so much. He's turning around and flipping over guys backwards.
And I'm also gonna say, which and I don't take away from kids that play in smaller conferences, because to me, you still got to put up the numbers. You still have to put up the numbers.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, you're looking at a kid like Campbell, Travion Henderson, Junkins. They doing this against big time opponents. This ain't the Mountain West where Genty is running for 2,600 yards in a season on some teams. So I look at that as well. Don't mean a lot, but when I did my mock simulator, I drafted every player that was from either the SEC, the SEC or the Big Ten, because we talking about competition. And I know it Walter Payton was from Jackson State, so I know
that's what I was gonna say. Yep,
I know it translates. But what I'm saying is, in today's NFL, those are the things that I'm looking at.
Wait a minute. So Genty was second to another running back that did pretty good, that came from a smaller school. Who was that dude named? Oh, Barry Sanders.
Yeah.
So
Barry Sanders
from Oklahoma State. He got Barry Sanders in Oklahoma State.
Yeah,
they played in the Big 12. They played in the Big 12. That ain't the Mountain West. That ain't the Mountain West.
But you know what?
How bad did he blow away those numbers for them?
But again,
everybody thought it was a fluke at that time.
You talking to the wrong person about Barry Sanders.
But this is
and don't get me wrong. If the Bears get him, I'm gonna be cheering for him because I think he's gonna be. I think he's gonna be a great back. So,
but you know what?
It's not like I don't think he's not gonna be a great player. I'm just basing looking at how deep the draft is.
Right.
And I always just look at when teams win. I mean, let me make an old reference. At one point, Earl Campbell, Walter Payton, Franco Harris, Tony Dorsett all played in the league at the same time.
John Riggins.
And John Riggins. Okay, but who was winning the Super Bowls? Franco and Tony. Because why? They had better teams around them. They had better lines. Their quarterback, I can't remember the quarterback player. But Peyton and Earl Campbell was on the top.
They was
nowhere near them. Franco was nowhere near them too at all.
Right.
Tony Dorsett, he was in that second or third tier. He was more of an outside runner. So I think when you fix that, sometimes it doesn't matter. You don't have to have T. Higgins and Jamar Chase on the same team, and you only can win a few games because you can't stop nobody on defense. Or the year before that, your quarterback getting sacked all the time.
See, but you know what? My reason for taking Will Campbell has nothing to do with Genty's talent. And the reason why I say this, the reason why Walter Payton got drafted so high was because they did that all-star shrine game against the Steelers, and he lit their butts up. He lit them up. You talk about some doggone dudes that just won the Super Bowl. and they going back or going in the Super Bowl, and they going back to the sidelines like, who is this dude? 2025. Yeah, you still have that, but by the same token, these kids nowadays, you don't have to worry about like getting a shrine game because everybody knows who they are and they know who their skill set is. My reason for picking Will Campbell is because I know what our offensive liners look like. And just like you were saying, but I like Genty could come. I believe that even if they decide to go, if Genty's here and they bring Genty here, I think Genty's going to be a stud here. I think he's built for this city as far as the way that he plays and what he brings. But right now, I want to see somebody be able to run the ball.
Yeah, I just don't see him getting past the Raiders, to be honest. I mean, that's why I don't spend a lot of time on. I think it's more of a hypothetical.
He's a rarity.
I think that's a hypothetical that he'll be there at 10.
Every year, 40% of the guys that are offensive linemen that get drafted in the NFL are busts.
Yeah.
Have you thought about that? So we can throw all these offensive linemen's names or whatever, and next year, the year after that, you're gonna see those guys carrying the clipboard when they're supposed to be in the trenches.
Because I'm gonna tell you one of the best kids I see that ain't nobody talking about, and I think he's actually creeping up in the first round. Is that kid from Oregon? What's his name? Connolly? Connolly Jr.
That dude just got blown up ridiculously by Carter. No, I'm sorry, that was by Mike Green.
Mike Green got him in practice.
So,
I mean, even the clock. What's the saying? Y'all know what I'm saying. Even the clock is like
right twice a day.
You know what I'm saying? I mean,
it don't get submarine though.
You know, so yeah. So to sum that up, I mean you're right, but the bottom line is, you know, the running back class this year is just, I haven't seen a running back class this deep in such a long time, and I just feel like right now the NFL, as much as they have devalued running backs over in the past, what Saquon Barkley and Derrick Henry has done over the last couple of years is bringing the running back because it's still one of the things where it's like, we can't be successful on offense if we don't run the football.
Yeah.
So I think that's coming back.
Yeah, that's what I'm looking at. 3, 4, 5. Those teams all could draft the running back. I mean, to be honest, and it can make a difference on a team. I mean, I can't even think of who the running back for the Jets. To be honest, that's why I just don't see it happening.
Oh, that's Brees Hall.
Yeah.
Brees
okay,
Hall.
so they good there, but
the Giants, who the running back for the Giants?
They had Tony Pollard last year.
That's what I'm saying.
Right.
Those
who's the running back for the Raiders? You know, who's the running back? I mean, the Patriots got Drake. What's his name?
Ramondre Stevenson.
But
the reason I keep talking about
he can't hold the football
is because the Bears got Ben Johnson, and this dude schemes up offensive plays better than anybody I've seen in a number of years.
Mm-hmm.
So this is the same guy when the Lions took Gibbs a couple of years ago. Everybody laughed. Everybody was a joke. And now all of a sudden, everybody wants a running back. Why is that? Because of Ben Johnson, what he did with his backfield. So when we're talking about the Chicago Bears, I think if we get Ashton Gentry, the Bears are having that same dynamic.
I'll put it like this real quick.
Playmaker. Okay.
To your point about the running back, who's to say that that Johnson coming here, he can say he might like Swift and might like Roschon.
He doesn't.
Okay, well.
He had Swift with him and traded him away already.
Touche.
Yeah, you know what? And also that's different about, even though those two guys play a great year, I won't say that made the running back class more valuable. These guys are special. I think that's what made it more valuable, because there was a lot of years you was looking at guys playing college. There was nothing special about a lot of these backs when you see them run. You know, you have one or two, but a lot of guys, you look at them in college, you were like, there's nothing. And that's why even sometimes when you look at them in the NFL, you will see guys that they're coming to NFL and you just like, there's nothing special about it. I mean, we had a run at one point where you had, I remember a couple years ago, you had only 6 guys with 1,000 yards. And that's 1,000 yards with 16 and 17 games. Yeah.
And Mo Man just made a point. Mo Man just made a very good point. He was like, you can draft a running back and they good around 5 or 6 years. A good offensive tackle. He can play 10, 15 years. So, you know.
Really?
Hey, Jason Peters just retired last year. He was 42.
He's 40, 41, 42.
Again, what percentage of offensive linemen bust after they retire?
I'm just saying.
Who was the kid that we had before that we drafted late? There was an offensive lineman that we had for some years. He on like his 3rd contract now with somebody else. I can't think of who he was. They drafted like 6th, 7th round. The Bears had him for years for left tackle. And he's with somebody else. I think he's with the Redskins.
Redskins, and I forget that guy's
Charles
name.
Charles Leno. He pushing 10 plus years.
Yeah. Hey, so it's a very valid point.
But see,
I mean, this is the NFL. This is today's NFL. Everybody talks about scoring points. They want to see running backs running down the field, breaking tackles, and alter the races. But again, you have to solidify your game. Your team is built from the inside out and not from the outside in. And I think Foles did a couple of these last few years. He was trying to get these shiny toys, but he still didn't solidify the trenches on both sides of the ball. Mm-hmm. So the Bears got a lot to do, but I think it's coming around. And I'm once again, we Bears fans, so we happy. We just happy.
Yeah, then also you got some pass rushers that you could actually trade back, and their names escaping me right now, but you could trade back from 10 if those linemen's not there, and you could pick up some pass rushers, maybe like a James Pearson or some of them that he's a little light in the butt, but just some players that you could. Josh Simmons may be there. You may be able to get Josh Simmons by trading back. Maybe
I like Kenneth Grant. I like the defensive tackle Kenneth Grant from University of Michigan. Kenneth Grant, a defensive tackle from University of Michigan. He's a run stuffer. Something that the Bears could use in the middle of their line. So it's a lot.
Let me say something about Ryan Poles. Ryan Poles came to the Bears at a time where
Jack Sawyer.
the entire doggone roster was decimated. Yeah. We had too many contracts that were old contracts. He only had a couple draft picks. So it's kind of hard to continue to say Ryan Poles didn't build up the trenches. He tried. He got Braxton Jones, who was still a 5th round draft choice that is still serviceable in NFL. I think one of the telling things about Ryan Poles' draft ability is what does Kieran Amagaji look like this year?
Yeah.
Last year, we were like, oh, that guy was terrible, but we knew he was hurt. But 1 year afterwards, let's see if that dude makes a difference. If he does, that makes Ryan Poles look like a genius. Mm-hmm. Let's not be too harsh on the guy. He's doing a lot, and he's cooking pretty well.
Jack Sawyer. I think
last year's draft is to put him in more question than anything because he, in my opinion, he kind of drafted like they were where they were there. Right. One is when you take Karan, a project more, right? Because he didn't play a lot at Yale and he was already injured. So you really then you drafted a punter is great, but not when you only got 4 picks.
Yeah.
And you still got other needs. I think last year's draft kind of put you where you was like, what are you doing? You kind of, and I know I drank the Kool-Aid last year, so I'm not trying to tell like I didn't drink it. I guzzled it.
I don't have a problem with the punter. That punter is keeping the Bears.
Yeah, I mean good as in bad. I mean good.
Drinking Kool-Aid, sure. I put some Basil Hayden in mine. You know what though? But this is something I will say, which is interesting, and I think the difference between a lot of these genius coaches who understand things. A genius coach would understand that, like, say you got a guard, you might have a guy that's a tackle that's a stud. You might have a center that's a stud. He also knows with those two dudes being so great, he can actually get away with a pretty decent guard. You know what I'm saying? A guy that has a certain skill set. When they look at a certain skill set, it's like, okay, well, he would fit perfectly right here. A lot of times people want to go out and you want to get the top name and all that stuff. And that's fine and dandy if he's able to hold his, but what about the rest of the guys? You know, so a lot of times people don't realize that offense and defense is a collective. And it's not, sometimes you have one person that's a great person, but especially when it comes to the line, it's a collective. Because remember, we were seeing guys running stunts on the Bears about 2-3 years ago. We have what's my guy's name? Start with the H, Bernard, because we were talking about him because he kept telling the dude behind his back was pointing to him like, go that way. And he kept missing. He had to keep shedding the block that he had to really hold on to get the guys miss. So it doesn't always have to be a home run, and I'm sure that second, third round with this draft pick, I mean, running backs, but just the draft in a whole, I think you might find a diamond in the rough in the second or third when it might be on 3 contracts in the future.
What other picks needs that you think the Bears gonna draft? I think some of the needs, I'm just throwing some out there. Maybe safety, maybe linebacker.
Definitely a safety.
Definitely safety for sure.
Hey,
definitely a safety.
Before we get there, just to be back on Ryan Poles, the idea of the GM is to get a serviceable, a good offensive line, defensive line. Right. This dude, Ryan Poles, just got us 3 starters.
Yeah.
In the offseason.
Yeah.
So I know we're getting a little bit beside ourselves at Chicago. They got to get an offensive lineman. Braxton Jones is still a decent offensive lineman. And again, we just got 3 starters. We turned over the entire offensive line in a single offseason. Mm-hmm. And there's no guarantee that we're not going to pick up another offensive lineman in the second or the third round. There are viable options there. So I know we want what we want. I'm just thinking about building out the entire team and putting us in a better position to be a force this year.
Yeah, and you also have to remember we got an edge rusher and a defensive tackle in free agency too.
I agree.
Yeah. So I mean, they did some work on the offensive and defensive line, but is there more work to do? And it's real interesting to see how this is going to work out because of Dennis Allen as the defensive coordinator. You know, because you got Devon Dexter and you got Zach Pickens. I think Zach Pickens is going to be a wild card in this thing. Yeah. He hasn't been able to showcase his ability in the last couple of years. But I actually think Zach Pickens is going to be somebody to see this season. And you also got Billings coming back from the injury. Yep. So we got some pieces in place. It's some pieces in place. But my biggest thing is this coaching staff. This coaching staff is a good coaching staff. We don't have no people looking up at the clock not knowing what to do. Coaching staff right now. So that helps. That helps.
You know, somebody else that I'm hoping Allen to be able to show his work would be I can't think of his first name, but Booker, because Booker was a pick last year.
Austin Booker.
So that was a pick last year that's almost like Karan, right? Where he made some impact, but he wasn't even a starter, if I can remember, in college.
And it's like if he can bring that talent out,
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
We don't even got to draft nobody. You don't.
Yeah.
Right.
It's just so much. It's just so much that can go on with the potential talent, with the talent and the potential talent that this team has. You know, the wide receiver room. I can go. Y'all know me. I can go on and on about that. I'm really loving this wide receiver room right now. If y'all go back and that kid, Zacchaeus from Washington, was. I watched the tape, but this dude, I'm like, whoa!
Yeah,
it's Ben Johnson is putting together some stuff, and I think it's really gonna be good. But of course, we optimistic because of Bears fans. But okay, y'all.
Hey, you know what? Is any I'm sorry, we wrap it up. Eric, is there any linebackers you think that the Bears could grab late in the draft that could make impact? Because I know they got. I mean, you let go Jack Sanborn and. it was some weakness at linebacker last year at some point to me. I mean, guys couldn't get off blocks, and you had problems with guys covering guys out in the flat. So you had to overplay Sandberg in situations where they couldn't stop the run because you needed somebody who could be a sound tackle at that time. I mean, Sandberg.
There's a few. I mean, I'm still hoping that my man Noah Sewell can do his thing because I was high on him last year. Late, you got Cody Simon from Ohio State. At the minimum, he's great on special teams. If they want to draft one early, the kid out of UCLA, I can't pronounce his last name. I think his first name is Carson. Last name is something German.
Schlesinger?
There you go. Let's see here. After that, like it's just a cliff when it comes to the linebackers. There's some kids that I do like, but they like at the minimum they're going to be strong on special teams. Teddy Buchanan, I think, is out of California. I like him a lot. But you know, the linebacker thing, we do need some more depth there because Edmonds does get hurt. He does miss a couple of games every year. You know, if even the games if he plays, you know, he might not be out there sometimes. Even though he still gets 100 some odd tackles, he's hurt. You know, and maybe it's that tall Bill being 6'5" and playing middle linebacker. I don't know, but so we do need that. Even the kid out of Notre Dame, Jack Kaiser. I think he's nice. You know, so there's some kids out there. I'm fearful of guys who come from bad defenses in college and then they want to get into the pros as linebackers. So avoid anybody from Oklahoma, Colorado, because those defenses was getting lit up. Okay, so you know, but the linebacker I think is great. But I also want to add another point before I forget. I got to jump off real soon and get a little guy getting his bath. People talk about again, you know, the gadget of what can be Tyler Warren. Here's a name to think about: Oronde Gadsden II. He played tight end for Syracuse, and so this young man can be like that hybrid H-back tight end, you know, wide receiver in the pros because he has the build. He played tight end, but he was catching everything at Syracuse from Kyle McCord. So, but he'll go maybe third round or beyond, you know. But yeah, linebacker is a lot of guys project to kind of like, you know, they're gonna make the team, be great on special teams. They go hard, you know, as far as how they start is kind of where they end up at. But we do need another one. My hope is that Noah Sewell is what I saw him at Oregon being. Like the dude was just bananas, you know. And so I just really hope that he steps up and takes the job. Otherwise, we'll be getting, you know, somebody, either a rookie or a free agent off the street that's going to be starting at, you know, the other linebacker position that we're going to be hoping out. But we need depth there. We need backups that we can, you know, make sure when Edwards and Edmonds, if they miss anything, the drop off is going to be hard, and we got to make sure we got somebody behind them.
Hey, what about the kid? I'm sorry, tight end. The kid from Bowling Green. I can't think his name.
Oh, Fanning.
Big boy.
Fanning.
Okay.
Everybody. So we reading each other's mind. I was like,
Fanning.
That kid Fanning is going to be
nice.
a good tight end too.
Ooh, nice.
He's
nice.
Be a good tight end too. Yes.
He's real nice. That's why I told you, Bernard, watch those MAC games during the week that come on Tuesday through Friday. You will see some players out there doing a thing, and so Fanning jumps off the screen. He's another one that was just doing everything for Bowling Green, you know. And so Fanning Jr. is good. Who else? Another tight end. The kid from Miami, Arroyo. He's good.
Elijah Arroyo.
He's good. And so, you know, it's some guy out there where it's like there's other people you can get in other rounds if they fall to you that if like, oh, we got a Royal, we got Fannin, or we got Gas in the second, I'd be like, we're okay. They can be there. But I don't look at, you know, based upon if Ben Johnson's offense is similar to what happened in Detroit, the secondary tight end is not really involved that much. You know, they're blocking, they're doing a whole lot. Like I said, you can't name who was behind Laporta. You can't. I struggle to name whoever that was, you know, and so, but Laporta went off, especially his rookie year, you know. And so, but yeah, we're gonna be okay, you know, with that. But there's some talent there. Like I said, Fannin Jr. though, that him is he made Tuesday and Wednesdays like watching college football after work fun.
Yeah. I like his ability to take contact, and he fights through the contact. He's hard to bring down once he get that ball. He's not going down. He's not an easy win.
That's right.
Yeah,
I got a roll. I got the little guy here. It's been great. I'm gonna catch y'all after the draft so we can do post draft.
Yep. Okay.
And do this.
Good
That's
job.
a good one, my man.
Okay. Hey, thanks, Eric. Appreciate you.
You know what I had, B? A lot of what I thought about as far as what we need to improve on and kind of like the method to the madness is we can look at players and stuff. Something I looked at is red zone scoring. Y'all know we were probably ranked 20th at home in red zone scoring, but like 4th on the road. We were like 74% chance of scoring on the road. It was like 53, I want to say, at home. We got to kind of bounce that out. We got to bounce the home part up. And in order for us to do that, I mean, we can have the greatest receivers, tight ends, and all that stuff. But if the defense is getting penetration on our line, but I will say we have gotten a little better. But that was like my whole analogy of as far as looking to the offensive lineman. So, like I said, I'm no Rhodes Scholar or anything like that. All I could go on from what I see and make an assimilation. So,
okay. Anybody else before we shut down for the night?
Nope.
Good job.
Make sure you subscribe to Bears Banter. Hit the subscribe button on YouTube, and also hit the subscribe button on Twitch TV. Hey, thank everybody for tuning in tonight. I mean, we kind of share our thoughts. We'll put it out on the Facebook page. If you haven't joined it, that's Bears Banter Talk Show Facebook group. We kind of put the consensus votes that people had for the top 10 picks. What you think? You had something planking, Jay, before we close?
I got nothing.
I'm good.
Okay, you good?
I
All
got
right.
nothing.
Next time.
We'll talk. Peace.
peace.